Tonight on the Super Important Show, can horses be too trendy? The dumbest cosmonaut scam that's ever happened, and the Air Force won't stop drawing penises in the sky. I am your host, Destiny Dado, or I'm one of your hosts, Destiny Dado, but I have two other amazing hosts joining me tonight. As always, I have the wonderful Heather Jules Booth. How are you doing, Heather Jules Booth?
I am great. It's warm out.
Yes, and why won't you stop drawing penises in the sky? That's a question I have for you.
Me? Never. Never. Except now you've told the world it was me.
And additionally, we have an amazing special guest, comedian, funny lady, Teresa Morrison. Teresa, how are you?
I am great. How are you?
I am wonderful. Please tell the audience a little bit about you. What is going on? What's your deal?
Oh, what's my deal? What's my spiel? What am I going to say? So I am a comedian. I just moved to Nashville, Tennessee from New York City. I was there for 8 years. Took a little sabbatical, if you will, a little siesta. So I'm here and I do improv and comedy and I always say I have a 9 to 5 job during the day and then I do the comedy thing at night, and that's my vibe. That's what I give off. Nice.
That's an excellent vibe to have. Let us get directly into our show. Heather, are you ready to get some World You Crazy going?
I'm ready to get kicking, Dustin.
All right.
I'm ready to get kicking.
What's crazy in the world today?
Well, I'm so glad you asked, and I'm so glad I'm ready to get it kicking, because we have sneakers for horses, and these sneakers go for $1,200 per shoe. Yes, everybody. Holiday season shopping is officially underway, and now you can buy that special horse in your life its own pair of shoes, not just one shoe, 2 shoes, 3 shoes. You can buy four shoes that fit horse hooves if you want. These shoes are designed and brought to us by Horse Kicks is the name, a sneaker retailer for horses. I am just imagining the commercial advertisement for this, the fact that it's called a sneaker retailer for horses. They repurpose branded shoes specifically for horses. You can order, in case anyone's interested, you can custom order a pair of these horse-friendly shoes on horsekickslex.com, which I think is a terrible URL. I'm just going to come right out and say it, because I was reading this article fast earlier, and I was like, horse kick sex, what? And then I realized that's not what it says. It's also not horse kick slex, which I also, anyway. Yeah. So each shoe starts at $1,200. A portion of the sales will be donated to an event called Sneaker Ball Lex, hence the URL that I'm making fun of, which does give back to local minority organizations. So it is going to a good cause. Doesn't help the URL, but these kicks are crafted by a Lexington, Kentucky-based shoe artist named Marcus Floyd. He posted multiple images of full-size sneakers next to horse-size sneakers. He says these are wearable art designed over a medical horse boot and covered with repurposed sneakers. He has different versions. He has a Court Purple Jordan 1, a New Balance 650, a Yeezy Boost 350. These are the shoes in the debut collection of Horse Kicks. There will be further collections. Floyd does admit it's one of the craziest collaborations to date, he says. He says it was a dope process trying to figure out what a horse sneaker would look like while using as much from a real shoe as possible. Listen, as art, I think this is a really cool idea. As an actual saleable item, this is it's a little wacky.
Here's what pisses me off about this. Okay, to come out and say $1,200 per shoe, because I'm not realistically gonna buy one shoe. Am I gonna have?
It's a horse,
right?
You're gonna give your poor horse one shoe, and then there's gonna be a sad Christmas song about your horse that's only got one shoe.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nobody wants that.
Yeah. Teresa, I assume you have a horse. Do you have?
Yeah, you're in Nashville now, so you have to.
Exactly. I have to have a horse. It's like a thing here. It's like, in New York City, you have to have a pair of hunter boots and you have to go to therapy. Like it's a necessity for New York. In Nashville, it's horses. And I don't have a horse and I haven't told anybody yet, but I will tell you both, I do not like horses. I said it.
Well, I'm glad that Joy is not here right now because I feel like she would have stormed into this room and freaked out and gotten on the mic. So it's good that she is not around.
Yeah, a horse would have? Who would have? What?
Joy.
I haven't had good experiences.
Oh, Joy. I didn't hear you say that, and I'm like, who are you talking about?
Yeah, I haven't had good experiences on horses, so I just feel like the fact that there's someone who's like, I'm gonna invent shoes for horses. Like, I wonder like what their journey was, like waking up and being like, this is what I'm gonna do, and and then did shoes for horses and made them like not a collective $1,200, but each shoe.
Right.
Is $1,200.
Yeah. Do you want to see them so we can properly?
Please. Let's share. Let's share. Everyone needs to see these. Yep. That's what I thought.
They are stylish.
It looks like he took a baby sneaker and then kind of just stretched it out and like snuffed it underneath. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And put the little Nike symbol on it.
Yes. Yeah. It just looks like a stretched out baby shoe.
Yeah. It's crazy because I'm in agreement. Like, this is obviously intended for a good cause, and he's obviously an artist. So there are all these cool things happening here. Mm-hmm. What was the thing that made them go, shoes for horses? Of course.
Yeah. He was like, my artistic self and like the fashion world like isn't cutting it to let me make shoes for horses. And to each their own. Again, I respect everybody's art. So I hope they're very successful in this, but then again, like, it's like, do horses want these on their feet?
Probably not.
Call that, whatever they are.
My theory is this, that like for most people, and Joy again would argue with me on this because this was not her case, but for most people, if you have a horse, then you have like fuck you money. You have like, I got so much money, I got a horse, I got a barn, I got all this shit going on. I'm thinking of like dumb shit to spend it on. My joke is always that if I ever have fuck you money, I'll buy a boat because I can't swim and I have no reason to have a boat. I feel like I like
that you're just like, that's it. That's the thing.
Right. You know that I've run out of shit to buy when I buy a boat, and I imagine for a certain percentage of horse people, they're just like, I got nothing else. Horse sneakers? Fucking great. Yeah. Let me drop like, what is it, $4,800 on horse sneakers. Ridiculous.
Get out of here.
So then are we in agreement that y'all would not buy these horse sneakers? Or if you had fuck you money, would you buy these horse sneakers and you had a horse? Because Teresa, you're saying you don't like horses, but imagine you're like, I got all the money in the world.
Right.
I'm going to get a horse. Would you buy the sneakers?
I mean, for the swag, I guess I would. To be honest, I guess I would. For swag.
Okay. But would you, given the choice, would you buy the Nike or whatever, like, sneakers, or would you go with, like, if they had, like, heels? Like, if they had some sort of, like, fancy dress shoe, you'd go the dress shoe?
I would go the dress shoe if the horse is comfortable. Like, again, see, like, I don't even like horses, but I want whatever the horse is comfortable in, like, I'm not a cat person either, but like, I was like, what are you feeling, cat? Like, I just want it to be comfortable. So it's like, how long are they going to be? There's so many questions. There's follow-ups. It's like, how long is a horse standing in these shoes all the time? Are we going out? Is it going to be worth the pain? Sometimes if we're going out to a fun event, then sure, I'm sure the horse would be like, give me the heels. But are we just hanging out casual? Then maybe get the Nikes. If I had all the money in the world, how's this? I would get both pairs, 4 of them.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, because assuming sometimes you got to bring a horse to a gala, right? I mean, Heather, you brought a horse to a gala.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. You need to have several horses. You need to have your regular sized horse, and then you need to have your gala sized horse. Yeah. Depending on the venue.
Cool. Anything else on this, or do we want to move on to our bizarre next story?
Oh, I feel like we've covered this.
Yeah, we've done everything.
Okay.
We've trotted all over it.
We can't beat a dead horse, you know what I mean? Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. Yeah. No, don't apologize. Never apologize for puns.
or do. You're welcome to do that. Teresa, I believe it is your story.
It is my story. Okay,
Yeah.
so in this story, let me tell you, we have a woman who claimed that she was scammed. She was scammed by a Russian astronaut who claimed to need money to return to Earth.
Mhm.
So right after that, maybe you're like a little confused. You're like, wait, what? Like, what does this mean? So basically, a man claimed to be a Russian astronaut and scammed a woman into paying his return to Earth, vowing to marry her when he landed. So right then and there, it's like, oh my God, yeah. Mm-hmm. So this man went about to make a fake Instagram account, posting pictures of space, saying that he worked at the International Space Station, where astronauts have limited access to cell phone service, so he wasn't able to like post that many pictures on the Instagram. And then the relationship, like, it kept going. And then they downloaded an app together, and then he was sending her messages like, can't wait to spend my life with you. It's like, we've all heard that, honey. We've all heard those. But she was like fascinated, still loved him, still was like, we're going to make this work. And then he asked for the money, and she gave him about $30,000 in 5 installments. Now, this is the funniest part. This is the funniest part to me. It goes, when his demands continued, the woman grew suspicious. You grew suspicious?
That's when she grew suspicious. That was when.
After 30K, after going like, I'm sure.
30K.
Yeah.
It wasn't the space part. It wasn't the astronaut part.
It wasn't the like the weird Instagram that you only have like 2 pictures. It wasn't the like giving you 30K in 5 installments. It was like, something's odd.
It was like, oh, now you're asking for more. Well, that seems odd. Like at that point, so many weird things have happened, and you gave money. Why is that the thing that makes you suspicious? Like, if you give money to someone, I expect they're going to be like, well, but wait, what about more?
Because everybody knows that the Russian government is not going to charge you more than $30,000 to come back to Earth. It'd just be silly for them to charge you more than that, right?
Yeah.
like that. Like they paid you to go. Like, is the assumption that like we'll pay for you to fly to the International Space Station, but like coming back you're on your own? Like that's like you got to find a ride.
Yeah, and the thing is, it says like romance scams when a criminal creates a fake online identity gain a victim's trust. It happens a lot. I mean, this happened in Japan, and I guess it's like it's been happening a lot there, and so it's just like, you know, I don't know, just like, okay, even, you know, sometimes I'm like, wait, what would I do? What would I do? What was he saying? Would I fall for it? And then I mean, like, I don't know, like, what was he saying in this app? Was he being really sweet? Like, maybe he was like, I love your eyes. And I'm like, thank you so much. And then he was like, can you give me 30K? And I'm like, well, you know, and then that was it. That's all it took.
Right? Isn't that always where it stops though? Like, no matter how sweet somebody is, the minute they're like, hey, I also need 30K.
Right.
Then you're just like, wait a minute.
Right. They're like, oh my God, this connection. I can't believe we found each other literally across time and space. Right. By the way, I just have this like bill I got to take care of. It just happens to be 30K. I know, right? That's so crazy.
Right.
Oh my God, but we love each other, right?
We love each other.
And the Russian government demands money up front. You can't just like pay them. You can't just like put it on your card. You have to have the 30K wired before you can land.
Yeah. Like, do you have Zelle? And she was like, yes. And then they just made it in that moment. Oh, yeah. So it's very, very interesting. I mean, I hope that she did find love, and it wasn't in space, and it was with someone on land you could physically see. But even then, she may still get scammed. So I hope. Right.
I feel for her so badly.
Honestly, I just feel bad.
Yeah.
Do I don't know. I mean, yes, I do, because no one deserves to be scammed. But like, ma'am. When
you really like someone, the red flags pop up, and you're just like, let me swat them away.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
it's almost unbelievably stupid. It's almost like
Right.
naive to a point where you're just like, how? Come on. Didn't
How?
you like? I mean, I've talked about before. My grandmother got scammed. She almost gave like $5,000 to a scammer. Basically, what had happened was she had called. Somebody had called saying they were me, so not my voice, saying that I was on a trip in the UK and I had rented a Jeep, and I had crashed the Jeep, and I needed to pay the bill before I could come home. So I needed $5,000 to buy the Jeep. And like eventually, like my grandmother spoke to somebody, or spoke to like my uncle, who's like, yeah, I don't think that that's true. And I just wanted to be like, you know that I'm visually impaired. You know that I couldn't possibly rent a Jeep. Like,
Right.
So even if you like heard my voice and heard the person's voice and it sounded like me, you know that that's impossible. You know that there's no way I could rent a Jeep. Like, so I was.
Oh yeah, scamming is no fun. Oh, but your grandma didn't give the 5,000, right? She didn't.
No, she didn't, but only because like she couldn't figure it out. Like it wasn't like by the time they asked somebody else, like she would have done the wire, but there was like some issue with trying to send the wire. And then my uncle called me and he's like, "Hey, you're not in the UK renting a Jeep." And I was like, "None of that. No, of course I'm not any of those things." So I guess people fall for it, but it just blows my mind that, anyway.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else on the story, or do we want to move over to my weirdness?
You should.
Suji is saying that they would question any request over $100.
Right.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
Right. So just know,
especially for someone you don't know at all, or that you've never met. I don't care if you're professing love and it's again, you've like never technically met this person, and then and it's downloaded apps together. Yeah, come on, this is weird.
Yeah.
It's sketch. It's suspicious.
But we're learning right now that if you want a catfish, Suji, and just make sure you're only asking for $99.99.
Just for like $50.
Yeah,
$99.
Yeah, keep it reasonable. If you want, don't do it. But if you're gonna do it, keep it reasonable. Is all I'm saying.
Maybe like increments of 50, like every other month, so it like maybe just only looks like $50 here and there.
Right. But yeah, Suji, call us if if you're not sure, and we will.
Suji says $99.
It would
totally work.
Yeah, it totally would. All right, so getting on to our next story. We like to think that the government is spending our money wisely. We like to think that that we pay our taxes and they do good things with it, and they tell us the truth. And this story is an example of a time where they wasted our money and they lied to us. Because the Air Force decided, the Air Force is denying that they drew, wrong thing. They're denying that they drew a giant penis on the radar. Basically, last Wednesday, an Air Force pilot was, who was in charge of basically refueling other planes. A lot of times those planes will just sort of circle while other planes will come to them so that they can do the actual refueling. So last Wednesday, one of those planes was in a pattern that folks who checked out radar like to look at. Some folks said that radar symbol, or that radar signal, looked an awful lot like a penis. And the government said, oh no. Let me get the exact wording here. I should have been more prepared for this, but I wasn't. The government said the KC-135 operating in the Eastern Mediterranean adjusted multiple different flight tracks during the course of this mission. While these adjustment movements appear to create a vulgar outline, there was no intent by the pilot or unit to do so. So, of course, if I'm going to say all this, I need to show you the picture so you at home can decide for yourself whether or not the government was telling you the truth or not. So, does that look
Come on.
like an accident or not?
That looks like someone has an artistic side and is also very smart enough to like be a pilot, and I love that about them.
So this was by a Russian base. So the argument was that this was essentially an insult to Putin for being Putin.
For being a dick? Can I say that?
For being a dick. You totally can.
Oh, yes.
So there's no question in my mind that this was an intentional penis. So
It's a specific flight pattern.
right, there's no way you do that by accident. And if you're wondering, well, I'm sure that this is the first time that the U.S. Air Force has drawn a penis on things. You'd be wrong, because they also did this.
Oh, wow.
This is an Air Force pilot admitting that yes, he did intentionally fly in the shape of a penis and have like the whatever the smoke come out the back. So apparently, the U.S. government is very frequently drawing penises in the sky, and these are the people who are charged with protecting us. It makes me, admittedly, a little bit nervous, but.
And listen, you got that high pressure job. You got to blow off some steam, and if that's how you do it,
basically you're saying that like, look, people got to draw dicks somewhere. Why not the sky? Is that your argument?
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
No one got hurt. You just drew a dick.
Right, just drew a dick in the sky. Like, it's like, even frat bros grow up to be pilots. And then they're like, yeah, it's make dicks in the sky. Yeah. And they like do it. And you're like, let him.
I appreciate Brian's comment of they have balls. True. It's just like, in terms of like things that we complain about government waste, like it's not cheap to fly a plane. When a plane is flying, like we're spending hundreds of dollars like a minute just in gas. So like those are multi-$1,000 penises. They're not cheap penises in the sky. Is all I'm saying. That like we could be feeding poor people instead of making penises in the sky. But I guess you guys don't care about poor people. You care more about sky penises. Is what I'm hearing.
Wow. We really ate a seed that, Dustin.
We did. We did.
We really ate a seed that. Yeah.
It's like, maybe my thing is like, I care about poor people. Maybe the poor people do want to like get a little laugh and see a penis in the sky. You know what I mean? Like, because penises are funny. Like, I love them, but they're funny. And so like seeing one in the sky when you like randomly, it's like, wait, does that look like a dick? And then it just like sparks conversation with people around you. Could lighten up the mood. But that does not mean that like. That's not like a whip out your dick at any moment. That's not what I'm going.
Disclaimer: the super important show does not recommend random people whip out penises at any time.
Disclaimer: that's really what I want to stress right now. Actually,
I did appreciate in looking at the article, the person started, because it was a BuzzFeed article. The person started by saying like, BuzzFeed has a storied history of writing about sky penises, and this author was disappointed that she had never had the opportunity to do it, and was excited to do this sky penis story. So this is very common. The picture I didn't show, because I couldn't make it out well enough, was a cloud penis that everybody was very excited about. But that was done by God. That was God's penis, and not the Air Force's penis. So do we have anything else that we want to talk about here before we get into What the Fact? Or are we ready?
Ready.
Okay.
I feel like we might be. Yeah.
Okay. Before we do that, I always forget. Before I do that, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you haven't liked and subscribed, it helps us a ton to get those likes so people know that you're enjoying the content. And subscribing lets you know when future episodes are happening. So please take a moment to hit the little like button and subscribe, and even that little bell thing, so that you know everything that's going on. Cool. So now moving on to What the Fact. Let me make sure I got the right stuff going. There we go. Okay. I got three questions for you guys. Folks in the chat, feel free to answer these questions as well. There's some weird ones today, I think you may be able to guess them, but we'll see. Our first question, and Teresa, this one's coming to you first, so get ready.
All right.
Which of the following was an actual real sport that people played? Is it mouse hatting, where you put a mouse in your hat and see how long you can keep it in that hat? Is it ferret legging, where you put 2 ferrets in your pants, seal them, and see how long you can keep the 2 ferrets in your pants? Or is it cat shirting, where you put 2 cats in your shirt and sort of seal it and see how long you can keep those 2 cats in your shirt? One of these is a real sport that people played competitively. Which of them do you believe is true?
I'm gonna go with the ferret leggings. I don't know why. I just feel like because everyone has a mouse and cat. What if it was ferrets? Like I'm just gonna go with the one that not a lot of people had pets that were ferrets. I feel like.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think they became more popular over time, but so you don't think that like the convenience of already having a cat would make you more likely to be able to be a cat shirter?
Like yes, but I'm like always like let's just try the answer that like probably people wouldn't go with, and most likely will be wrong. But like I'm a risk taker.
Okay, all right. Heather, what do you think?
I'm gonna go with mouse hatting.
Okay.
I just feel like this is a thing that maybe people who were like maybe not super fortunate did, and they had mice hanging out, and they were like, I'm picturing like Disney cartoon, and they were like, come here, mouse.
Be in my
kind
hat.
of like that cartoon we watched a couple of weeks ago with the mice singing.
The Titanic sequel?
Yeah, the Titanic ones, like those mice. They were like, come here, mice, let's go on the Titanic, and we will play mice hatting. I'm going to go with mouse hatting.
So you're going to go with mouse hatting.
I'll go with mouse hatting.
Teresa's going with ferret legging.
Yep. Topping went with ferret legging, and Suji has gone with mouse hatting.
Okay. So nothing for cat shirting.
No one's voted for cat shirting yet.
Which is fine because that is wrong. The actual answer is, in fact, ferret legging.
Wow.
Yeah. They would basically, they would put 2 ferrets in your pants, then seal the bottom and then seal the top. And basically, like, you would win by being able to withstand having because the ferrets will like claw at you very vigorously. They are not happy about being in your pants. So basically, like, however long you could stand getting like basically your groin and legs torn to shreds with ferrets would decide the winner.
What a fun game.
Yeah.
I've also played this game with like any man who's ever broken my heart. And then like, let's do this game and like throw ferrets at them.
Yeah.
Like, it's a game, but then I don't put them in my pants. I just watch them in it.
Right. Yeah. And just have them scream forever. All right.
Like, it's a game.
Yeah. Question number 2. Heather, will come to you first this time.
Right. Ready.
Which of the following was an actual job in the Catholic Church? Was it Sorcerer Supreme? Was it the Pope's Pope? Or was it the Devil's Advocate? One of these was an actual job that the church employed people to do.
I don't get descriptions of what these jobs are, though. I don't get to know what they are.
No, this one you're on your own.
I got to just make up in my brain what I think that these are.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah.
I'm gonna say, especially because you and I talked about the Devil's Advocate recently, it's not that. I feel like that's a red herring.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna pick that. What the hell is the Sorcerer Supreme? That's a Taco Bell menu item. So I'm going to go with the Pope's Pope, because I could see an argument where somewhere in the church they were like, well, the Pope is the top of the line, but the Pope might need to talk to someone, and if God's not available, what if the Pope needs somebody?
Okay.
So I'm going to go with the Pope's Pope.
Okay. Cool. Teresa, what do you think? I know we got an answer in the chat from Topping.
Topping has gone with Devil's Advocate.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I honestly had it just because you said Taco Bell, and I was like, that sounds delicious. I'm gonna go with the Sorcerer Supreme.
Okay.
Taco Bell should get on that.
Off of the Taco Bell reference. That's it.
Okay. All right. We got another vote. Or I don't know if Suji is voting for Sorcerer Supreme, or just
I
that
don't
she
either,
enjoys
but
it. But
she likes the name though.
yeah, I'm gonna say that she's voting for it. The actual answer. So okay, let me just recap. We got one for Sorcerer Supreme. We got one for the Pope.
Oh, we have another one for Devil's Advocate.
We got a couple for Devil's Advocate.
Okay.
The actual answer is, in fact, the Devil's Advocate. It was not a red herring this whole time.
Damn it!
The Sorcerer Supreme is from the Marvel movies. It's what Doctor Strange should have been, and what's her face was, and now that guy is. I don't know anybody's names. The Pope is a thing that I fully made up. The Devil's Advocate was basically like whenever they were going to make somebody a saint, or whenever they were going to like do something, they would have somebody come in and actually argue the devil's point of view as to why that person shouldn't be a saint, so that like they were confident that it was a good idea. So somebody would come in. So they just
had some like local improviser,
basically, yes,
come in and wow.
Yeah, here's what I think the devil would say in this scenario. Yeah. That was a job that was paid for by the Catholic Church.
I would love that job. I would love that job. I'm like, wow, why is that not a thing anymore? That's not a thing.
No, they stopped doing it. But imagine if they were like, hey, like, we want to make Mother Teresa a saint. And you could be like, nah, fuck that bitch. Here's the reasons why. Which actually would have worked.
I would very much want that. Like, I would want that gig.
Yeah.
Because let's be real, it would not be a job anymore. It would be a gig.
Yeah.
And I want that gig.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want that gig.
Rebecca is arguing that it was Al Pacino. Yes, it probably was. And in fact, Al Pacino.
It probably was Al Pacino. Yeah, let's be real.
All right, question number 3.
Wait, Dustin.
Yes.
Wait, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
I know I can Google this after, but like, do you have any timeline of when this stopped happening? I'm just fascinated that this is a real.
I don't. I just know that
I'll Google it.
I know that the picture was very much like a painting. So I feel like it was,
That's just wild.
Yeah. All right, so question number 3. Teresa, I'm coming to you first, so be ready.
Okay.
In Return to Oz, the sequel to The Wizard of Oz that was made in the 80s, when we meet Dorothy again in the movie, what is occurring when we first meet Dorothy? Is she A, receiving electroshock therapy from everything that happened in the first movie? Is she B, arguing with a sassy chicken? Or is she C, making out with the scarecrow in the back of a pickup truck? One of these things is true. Which do you think it is?
I'm thinking just arguing with the sassy chicken, because I just like that just, who doesn't love a sassy chicken? Or like, I just want to know what a sassy chicken is, you know?
Okay, so you're going to go with sassy chicken.
I'm going to go with sassy chicken.
Right. I think chat's on board with sassy chicken too. Rebecca's saying she's petting a sassy chicken. Topic, sassy chicken. Heather, what are you thinking?
I think it is also the sassy chicken, because I know that the chicken is the sidekick in this movie.
Okay.
Because it's the reason I've watched this movie.
Mm-hmm.
This movie's not good, but inexplicably there's no Toto anymore. It's a chicken.
Okay.
So sassy chicken.
Sassy chicken. Well, technically, according to the research that I've seen, while there is in fact a sassy chicken, the actual answer is receiving electroshock therapy.
What? No.
Yes.
No.
She is. I've seen the scene. She receives electroshock therapy. Yes, she does.
No.
She does.
There's chicken.
She does. No, there is a sassy chicken. I'm not saying there isn't a sassy chicken. That's why that answer is there. But the sassy chicken doesn't appear right away, from what I understand.
Oh, okay.
All I remember about it is it was really creepy, and there was a chicken.
Yes, there was a chicken. There was a guy with a pumpkin head, and somebody else. And eventually she...
Isn't this the movie with, like, there's, like, a giant bird creature, too, at some point, like, on a barge?
Yep.
Yeah. It's real weird.
It is. I should have gotten the trailer. I regret not having the trailer because I watched it. Please take a moment to Google Return to Oz. There is a very sassy chicken in it. Don't get me wrong. But I've seen the scene where they're basically, like doing the turn the electric... You know that scene in, like, Rambo, where he's like strapped to a thing and like they turn the electricity up and he like screams? Like that's basically what happens, like from what I've seen at the start of this movie, except except she's fully clothed, whereas Rambo was just like in shorts. But yeah, so that's what Return to Oz. It's apparently very dark. Again, I regret not finding the trailer. I think like maybe if you guys talk amongst yourselves, I can find it. But let me see if I can.
Is that a challenge? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's start. Yeah. Would you rather? And I will have you guys. Would you rather with each other, and then while I'm looking for it. So let me go to the right thing. Okay. So you guys just talk through it while I'm trying to figure this out, because I think it's important that we resolve this. So go ahead.
Okay. Should I kick it off? Am I doing our official Would You Rathers?
Yes. Yeah. Except without graphics, because I can't play along.
Without graphics. Okay, without graphics. So we're just, as Dustin worded it, would you rathering each other? Which, as Chad is pointing out, sounds suspicious, sir. Agreed. Agreed, Chad. Agreed. Thank you. All right. Would you rather have free, constantly available? So these things are free. Both options are free, and you have one of these two things all the time. So would you rather a personal assistant to take care of all your physical needs, or a therapist to take care of all your mental needs? So what would you prefer? Free, constantly available, but you can only have one.
Easy. Personal therapist.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like I am my own personal assistant. Like I like to do things. I got I'm good. I don't. If anything, I'm gonna need to talk it out. I'm gonna need to talk out all my things, and so personal therapist for sure, hands down.
Okay, I'm less positive on either, because I feel like a couple years ago I would have easily said personal therapist. No question, because I also would have been like, that's so great. Crazy things have happened. I'm feeling whatever. I'm feeling my feelings. I want to be able to like talk that out. And I still think that's super, super important. And I'm still on the fence. But I also recognize that I just like, there are days where I just am so tired and exhausted. And I'm like, I don't have enough time in my day to do these things. Now I understand why people have assistants. And I don't even like live a big, important life. Like, I'm just like, I'm in New York, so it's like the hustle, and I'm like, I just need somebody to like, I don't have time to go get that thing.
I wish somebody else could. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually think, and since this is my question, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go with the personal assistant, because the time that will free up, I could use on therapy. So that's I'll go with that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chat. What do you think, chat? Anyone in chat? No one's saying in chat.
All right, guys.
You can like use the personal therapist as a assistant. Be like, listen, before we talk things out, can you run to Rite Aid?
Yeah.
I got it. I will give you my answer. I would definitely go therapist, because I have more mental problems than I do other problems. So. And I want to put them on somebody who's not me,
sure.
Like,
and that's fair, and that's why it's like, it's a hard one to pick.
Yeah.
Because that would definitely, there are definitely times where it's so useful. It would be so helpful to just be like, hey, I don't know what's happening. I need to talk to someone. Yeah. Therapist on speed dial for free. Great. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if I dropped this in the right place. I think I do. Let's see if this works. I may play the wrong thing.
I'm excited to see what you're about to play.
Okay.
We're going to find out. Let's see.
Make sure it's giving me...
You mentioned something about a tiger.
A lion. A cowardly lion.
And he could talk, too, like the Scarecrow and the Tin Man?
Remember how we spoke?
Not to talk about us. Because it's just my imagination.
Just how did you get back from Oz?
You put them on, and you click the heels 3 times.
Somehow she got younger?
And you said there's no place like home.
I'm confused.
Yeah.
I know you don't want to go to the doctors, but you just haven't slept the night right through since the tornado.
This electrical marvel will make it possible
I
for
completely
you to
forgot
sleep
about the
again.
electric therapy part of this.
Mm-hmm.
I
My
really
friends
did.
are in trouble. I know it.
We're in trouble, Dorothy.
I just remembered that weird bird creature and the chicken.
Oh, it's coming. Don't worry.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Uh-oh. It just got real.
They've all been turned to stone. Beware the Wheelers. I don't remember them.
It's like really real.
I haven't done anything to you.
Isn't that a stolen lunch pail in your hand? Isn't that a chicken in there with you? Chicken! The Gnome King doesn't allow chickens anywhere in Oz.
Who's the Gnome King?
Who's the Gnome King?
This is horrifying.
This is very scary.
And this is just chicken watching.
This isn't even like the. This isn't even the one with the scared chicken. I grabbed the wrong one. But I don't think we have time for me to go find another
No,
one.
I think we're good, but holy hell, yeah.
Yeah. So that's returned to us.
Really bizarre. Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah. I wish I'd found the one with the scary chicken, but
The creepy giant bird puppet. Yeah.
yeah. Oh well. I tried. I'm sorry. That's what happens when I have to look for it without time to look for it. Next time I will be more prepared. Oh no, wait, maybe. Anyway, yeah, I'm spending too much time on this. I know that now. Oh no, wait, no, guys, I found it though, and I think it's worth it. So, give me a minute. Give me a minute. I would say let's go on to the next one, but I don't. But we're almost out of show if we do that. So, I guess talk amongst yourselves again. Sorry, I blew it.
Do you want me to do the next one? Should we do the next one?
Yeah, let's do the next one, and then I'll find it.
So, would you rather get an email every time a coworker has sex, or have them get an email whenever you do?
Oh, that's easy. I would much rather get the ones when the coworkers do. And then I would just create a rule in my email thing.
No, you gotta
Filter
read it.
them.
You gotta read it. That's bullshit. You can't.
I can't create a filter? What if
No.
I put them all in a folder and then once a day I check the folder? Come
I
on.
would check it all the time. I'd be like,
You would check it all the
I would
time.
like seriously. Which is why
I
my
would-
answer would be
Yeah.
emails.
I mean, I would still go with that because, like, then I could. Can I respond to the emails? Can I be like, yeah, or whatever? Like,
Yeah, of course. If you, I don't know why you
Great.
would want to, but by all
great.
means.
Why not? Why wouldn't I want to? I would literally start responding with like encouragement, cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like if they're gonna have the time to put it in an email,
Mm-hmm.
and then like you are allowed, they're expecting a like email back. You know what I mean? Don't be rude.
Right.
So-
They respect.
Yeah.
They're expecting a response. Yeah. Yeah. No. 100%. I'm on board with the getting the email. I will respond. I'm still creating a filter. That doesn't mean I'm not checking it. I'm creating that filter.
I like that idea.
All right, I think I have the second trailer now. If this fails, then we'll just stop. But are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay. There you go.
This summer, Walt Disney Pictures presents a motion picture fantasy adventure beyond
Walt
your
Disney,
fondest imagination.
Yeah.
You'll
this
be
wasn't like
transported
some weird
miraculously back to the enchanted
little,
land of Oz,
indie
that magical kingdom
straight-to-video
beloved
film.
by young and old for generations.
It's just a yellow brick.
No, Belina, you don't understand. This was the Yellow Brick Road.
You'll share with Dorothy Gale the shock of finding everything mysteriously changed.
What's happened to everybody?
And you'll delight with her discovery of 4 wonderful new friends who band together against a wicked queen and the dreaded Gnome King. This is the Oz you haven't seen before, and this is the Oz you'll want to visit again and again. From Walt Disney Pictures comes a whole new world of entertainment.
Why don't we just fly back to Kansas?
Return to Oz.
Why is the chicken 95 years old? Slide back to Kansas.
She's a sassy chicken. She is a sassy chicken.
Yeah.
I love that.
Rebecca, you'll pass. Don't you want to know? Didn't that intrigue you, Rebecca? Come on.
And Rebecca is Suji says, do we really want to visit again? Yeah.
I think we do.
Chad is not on board. Chad is like, no.
I am with Chad. I am not on board with this. Also, Disney? They were like,
I know, right? Yeah.
I mean, there were Muppets essentially in that. I feel like Muppets adjacent. I feel like they're people like messed up cousins of Muppets. Okay, so we're voting no. But I just wanted to make sure everybody saw that so that they could be scarred by it, because sometimes it's important that I'm not the only one who's scarred by a thing.
That scarred me. And like that.
So did we in my distraction? Do we all answer the? Maybe
I don't think you've answered, Dustin. What would you do?
I don't know. I am not.
I mean, one is broadcasting. One's broadcasting your personal business. One is you have to look those coworkers in the eye and be like, "Oh, 20 minutes ago you were doing it."
So I'm gonna go back to like my last job, because like right now I'm freelance. So I would definitely say like, you people, I don't know you people. So it's a different thing. But like in a situation where it's like a bunch of people who I'm working with all the time, I would say probably go with get an email whenever they're doing it. Mostly because like there was nobody who I would be horrified by that with. Like the reason I wouldn't go with that is because you know that there's a certain number of just like people who you're just like, I don't ever want to think about you doing it. And then I would get emails from them all the time. So, but in the last place, it was like everybody was kind of like relatively young, cool, and hip. So, you know, like knowing that they're out there doing it, I'm okay with it. There was nobody who I like really hated. And if I got the email, I'd be like, fuck that guy. So I'm going to go with that.
Literally.
Right. Yeah. But there have been places that I like when I was working at AMC, like I would have picked email when I'm doing it 100% of the time, because there was a lot of people who like I didn't need to know about what they were doing. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like I'm more on the side of like I would just tell people what I'm doing, because I feel like people would think that it was like spam. They're like, this isn't true. Like, you know, like they were like, they're like, not true.
Wait, hold on. Just so like, is the argument there then, just so I have clarity, that you do it so much that people would be like, there's no way she's having this much sex. Is that the?
No, that's an opposite thing. It's like they would be like, Teresa's doing it, but like it like never happened. So they would be like, probably, I'm not gonna open this actually. Like if the subject was like, I had sex last night, they'd be like, this is a spam. I'm gonna open this and like all of my computer's gonna get wiped out. So that's like, I think it'd be funny if I were to say it, because they wouldn't believe. I feel like my coworkers wouldn't believe it.
Okay.
If some would, some wouldn't.
Okay. All right. Are we ready for our final question then? Is that where we're?
I think so.
Is that where we're at?
Over there, yeah.
All right. So our final question is from me. Okay. So here are your two options. Every conversation that you have, like at the start of every conversation, whether it's just like, hey, pass me the butter, a waitress coming over and saying, or a waiter coming over and saying like, what can I get you today? They have to start it with just like full on out of a movie slapping you in the face. Or at the end of every day, you have somebody who's got a pretty solid kick who just comes and kicks you right in the crotch. And you know that that's how you're going to end every day, right before you go to bed, somewhere between like brushing your teeth and like washing your face and stuff like that, and actually getting into bed. Somebody's like just sort of taps you on the shoulder and then kicks you in the crotch real hard. For the purposes of this, go with like, because I know it sucks to get kicked in the crotch if you're a woman, but I feel like it sucks more if you are a guy. So I think for the purposes of this, let's assume that you are a guy, because I feel like, you know, I feel like girls like I feel like it's a different story, but I don't know. I've never been a girl and gotten kicked in the crotch. So please,
it's not fun.
Educate me.
It's actually not fun at all. It actually hurts so bad. I haven't got like, I don't remember like maybe like when I was younger getting like kicked, but by accident, but then also like just falling on something. Like, do you ever fall on your bike? I don't know, Heather, when you're like riding your bike when you're younger and like that, like the part, and then you like, I fell forward on my bike. I was like, oh my God, like it hurt.
We may not have balls, but we have delicate lady parts.
Okay.
Yeah, delicate lady parts.
Okay. Then I take it back. You can stay with lady parts for the purposes of this story. But Teresa, what would you prefer? Yeah. A slap every time you speak, or a kick in the crotch to end every day?
Okay, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Am I able to put on clothes that maybe there's like a padding where like you know what I mean, I'm protected?
No, assume whatever you normally wear to sleep right now, you can't change. You must stay with that trend. And I'm assuming you do not wear a protective garment when you go to bed now. I don't know. If you do, then you know, you've hacked this question.
Honestly, like, it depends. It depends if the time of my month, because then like that pad is pretty like it's the overnight ones on ladies, so like it could do me in. But I would say a slap in the face.
You'd say a slap in the face. Okay.
Yeah, like it would hurt, but like no, like Heather, we get it. Like men or women, it hurts getting hit in the crotch.
Okay. All right, Heather, what's your take?
So this is interesting because Suji just said, regardless of gender, the slap is safer. And I don't know. I was thinking that I feel like I start a lot of conversations. So I'm concerned that no matter how safe a slap is, I was like, it feels like it could be potential for brain damage. Whereas like, you know that you're only going to get kicked in the crotch 365 times. And that's it.
Right, but all day you're just thinking about the fact that like that's how this is going to end. Like,
it's not fun. It's not good. It's not fun, and it's not good for you. But I also don't want to get slapped in the face every time I start a conversation.
Okay.
Because then that's going to make me just never talk.
But then you won't get it slapped in the face and you can go to bed without getting nailed in the crotch.
I know, but then I can never talk again.
But let's also
that's just not possible.
Let's also assume, just for the sake of this question, that it hurts very badly, but it never does permanent damage. So like you're not, you know, like
then that I would probably go with the slap then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just because I think
changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That changes it for me, because for me, like, yeah, it's annoying and it would hurt. But if I'm not going to get brain damage from it, then I think I'll go with the slap.
Okay. All right. So that means we have 2 for slap.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the case? And chat seems to be on the slap train as well.
Slap train. The slap train.
Yeah, I feel like I would have to go with the slap as well, for 2 reasons. Because like, I am a person who worries about the future all the time now. So just knowing that like every day I'd wake up going like, I know how this day is going to end. No matter how good it is, I know it's going to end. It's going to end real bad. But also like, you can control, to your point, like Brian saying slap me. Fair, I guess, for some people. For some people it'll be good. But I feel like you could control how frequently you could be more judicious with the number of conversations that you start. Because I feel like the rule should be, if you say words, then that's a conversation. So in theory, if a waiter or waitress comes over and says, "What can I get you?" the argument could be made that if I point to a thing, that's not a conversation. Like, because only one person has spoken. So I feel like you'd essentially could just become like borderline mime and just only have the important conversation. Because once the conversation starts, you can go on for like 4 hours. So, like, I might just make the argument that, like, hey, like, go to my wife Joy and just be like, hey, come with me everywhere we go. You and I are always having a conversation. You speak for me, but I will only ever speak to you, and that'll work. Which, like,
it feels like a cheat.
It does, but technically, I feel like it stays within the rules. Here's
creative.
Here's
listen, you know what, Dustin? No, I'm going to agree with you. It stays within the rules the same way that I said the question about the emails, where I was like, well, I'm going to create a filter and I'll still check it. So I'll allow it. I'm allowing it.
Here's something I don't really talk about that often, but it always confuses me, is whenever I go somewhere with Joy that I've never been, like to a restaurant or any place where there's like service that needs to occur, and Joy and I are together and they see the cane, they will always ask her all of the questions as though I am not there. Where it's like, I can hear you though. Like, the number of times I've been like,
it's not for hearing.
Right.
Yeah.
The number of times I've been at a restaurant and the person like turned to Joy and says like, does he need a menu? And it's like, I'm here. I'm right here. Like I'm capable.
Do you ever just lean into it and just like start touching people, not inappropriately, but just like fucking with them?
No, I do occasionally, like, as I think I probably mentioned before, like there are times where like when somebody like helps me across the street in a way or whatever, or like somebody gives me a seat on the subway, where I will like blind it up a little bit just because I want them to feel good about what they did. Because like if they give me a seat on the subway, which I definitely need, and I immediately go like start to play a game on my phone, then they're like, screw that guy. Like I just got up.
Yeah.
So like I will definitely just sort of like sit and stare a little bit and like make sure to touch things a little bit more so that like they feel as though like they did the right thing. Like, which they still did. Even if I didn't do that, they would still have done the right thing. But like that's I will admit I blinded up a little bit. Like in those scenarios. That's all I'm saying. So now you know my dirty secret. So getting like I think Sujatha is very upset at me. Blinded up. Yeah, well, yeah. Certain times you have to do what you have to do, is all I'm saying.
And like you just gotta commit. You're like committing. You're like, I'm gonna have them be really grateful for.
I also agree. Suji says you should respond by asking Joy to tell away. I agree, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would do that, and I would also like find ways to just like physical comedy. Really.
Yeah. I think that about does it.
Just
for our show. Now that I've blown up all my secrets and everybody knows, I feel like every episode we have like the Destiny Data story. Like I feel like I shared too much. I shared too much in this show. Teresa, where can people find out more about what you got going on?
More about me? Okay, so you can follow me on the Instagram at Teresa Hysteria. The only age is in hysteria. And I will be back in New York actually in December, and I produce a show called Loose Change Comedy Show. It's way the hell uptown in Washington Heights. You can follow Loose Change at Loose Change Comedy Show on Instagram as well. They do have a show. There is a show still on this Thursday. So if you're around, it's a free show. It's donation based. It's so fun. Penny Joe's is an amazing fun bar. Also, I just moved to Nashville. So like any upcoming shows or anything like that, I'll post on my Instagram and like follow me with some friends.
Nice. And Heather, what do you got coming up?
I think it's a week and a day from tomorrow. We have a sketch show with Chaos Network, the sketch team that I'm on, that is directed by Blinded Up, the Dustin Diodato story. that will be at 7
o'clock. 7 o'clock. Yes.
7 o'clock. Great.
Yeah.
7 o'clock at the Tank. Please come out, see the show. It should be fun.
Cool.
There's some good sketches. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. And I think for me, the only thing I have is that I hit all the wrong buttons. Where'd everything go? Oh no.
Winning that Oscar.
Yeah. For me, it's just the same thing, but you can always follow us at Super Important Stuff on Instagram and find out about things that are coming up. We actually have a couple of weeks off coming up because of the show that we're doing, and then the Thanksgiving holiday. So our next show isn't going to be until, I believe, November 28th. So we're gonna miss you guys a whole lot for the rest of the month, but here we are. So yeah, Teresa, thank you so much for being part of the show.
Thank you.
You
It's
were
so fun. Thanks for having me.
You were amazing. I hit the wrong song. I'm doing all the wrong buttons. This is our outro song. This is it's more like chill, like hey, thanks for watching kind of stuff. So thank you so much for having us. Thank you for watching. We'll be back in a bunch of weeks, in like 20 days or whatever, 21 days. And have a wonderful, wonderful evening.